How should companies be thinking about that when it comes to their renewal timeline versus when they should start this process if they're actually serious about switching vendors? Because I think what happens, a lot of folks, they get forced into renewing because they hit that timeline. They're in the renewal cycle. It's like, all right, let's just stick this out for another year. And then they like just kick the can down the line again. They're like, oh, we'll think about this next year. And the renewal's coming up again. And it's like, oh, we don't have enough time. Let's do it again next year. And it just keeps getting punted to the next year. So how can companies think about backing their way into a timeline that's not like way too early where it's, premature, they're doing a ton of work and things could change so much 12 months from now in the business, but also making sure they're giving themselves enough time to do the proper research so they could have a successful switch if that's what they end up choosing to do.
In general, I would take like whatever you think your timeline is, multiply it by 1.3 probably to give yourself a little bit of extra time. I think for sub 1,000 employee companies, you're probably looking at starting it 6 months before the renewal, just to give yourself a little bit of extra time. If you're a sub 50 employee company and you're, HR team of one, or maybe you're even, just like a C-level executive doing this, like you can do it in 6 weeks. Like it's totally doable. We've seen people buy software in 11 days, but that's going to be a really small company. So I think 3 to 6 months is a pretty good timeline that leaves a lot of buffer in there. And it allows you to go slow. It allows you to, when you're having conversations with peers, be like, oh yeah, and by the way, who do you actually use as an ATS? Because we're looking at, this, and this year. And you can kind of passively learn a little bit and work it into your day to day so that you're not in a rush. And then, you've got all the time in the world to negotiate too, right? Like it kind of puts the ball in your court when it comes time to sign that deal.